Let's go ahead and read through the problem number 31 and 32 just to get an idea of what's going on. We'll start with 31. A projectile is thrown upward so that its distance above the ground after t seconds is given by this function here. And just a couple things we can gather from this function is well, how high is this projectile at time 0? If you replace t with 0, you just get 0. So the whatever it is, it's on the ground at time 0, and then it goes up into the air, and then it comes back down. So projectile is thrown upward, and we have a quadratic function here. So we know that if we were to graph the quadratic function, it would look something like that, and it would have a vertex up there somewhere. We're not really sure where the vertex is, but that's where the action is going to happen. After how many seconds does it reach its maximum height? So t would be, so the independent variable is t. T represents time, and h of t represents the height at a certain time. So kind of knowing what we're looking for going in helps us to interpret the graph. And so it's easier to create these videos by using my calculator, but you could also type in these functions into Desmos. So we have negative 11 x squared, and we don't have a t in the calculator, so we're just going to use x to represent time, and then plus 308 times x, or times time. And adjusting the window, we're not sure how long it's going to be in the air, we're not even sure how high it's going to go, but let's just put 500. Let's see how high it goes. Okay, so it goes way higher than 500, and it stays in the air a little bit longer. So when you're using the graphing calculator, you have to kind of experiment with the window, and let's use 50 there, and let's use 3000. That should do it. All right, so now the graph looks like what we want it to look like, and all we have to do is find the vertex. So we're going to find the maximum value. We're going to put the cursor to the left, mark that, and in Desmos you just have to move your cursor right there and click on the vertex, and it gives you the coordinates. 13 point, so you see all those 9s there. When you round that number to the nearest 3 digits after the decimal, it actually rounds to 14. So our vertex then is at 14, 2156. And what does that mean? After how many seconds? So therefore, after 14 seconds, after how many does it reach its maximum? After 14 seconds. That's all. So that's all that this problem is asking us to find, is how many seconds does it take for the projectile to reach its maximum height. If it asked for the maximum height would be that 2156 feet. Does it say? It doesn't say feet, meters, miles. Doesn't say. So anyway, so the main the answer to the question is just after 14 seconds, because the 14 is the x-coordinate or the t-coordinate of the vertex. All right, so then for problem number 32, we have the same kind of a thing, meaning that we have a quadratic function. And what does this mean? What does that represent? The owner of the video store has determined that the cost, so the cost in dollars of operating the store, is approximately given by this function. X is the number of videos rented daily, and find the lowest cost of the nearest dollar. Well, the cost of renting, it's funny because we don't rent videos anymore. Anyway, so the cost of renting no videos, the cost of the owner, for the owner of operating the store, of renting no videos would be replace x with 0, and then you get 680. So the daily cost, yeah, so it'd be the daily cost. Anyway, so we would know that it starts up here at 680, and then it would dip down here somewhere, and then it would go back up. It's asking for a minimum. That's also going to happen at the vertex, like in the last problem. And let's figure out where that vertex is. So now we type in 2x squared minus 18x plus 680, and we just look at the graph. All right, so looks like we can adjust that x max to 30, and then the y max, we don't need it so high, maybe 1000. And so we can see that this is the part of the parabola that we want. We want to figure out what the minimum value is. Just place your cursor on the vertex, and we can see we'll move it over there, 0680, enter, and then we'll move it to the right. Okay, and then back over here towards the middle, and we get our vertex. So vertex is 4.4999, so that'd be 4.5, 639.5. So the vertex is 4.5, and then what did we say? 639.5, 639.5. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, it means that if we rent, X is the number of videos rented daily, and if the lowest cost to the nearest dollar, lowest cost of operating the store, would be that number right there. And so we would say, therefore, $639.50. That's the lowest cost to the nearest dollar for operating the store daily. And he has to rent 4.5 videos to do that. But then the cost of operating the store goes up from there, and we don't need to worry about that. But we got the answers to 31 and 32.